You've been played. Not once, but repeatedly. Not because you're weak, but because you never learned the rules. You gave people access to your mind, and they rewrote it. You let their approval shape your worth. You let their silence control your peace. And worst of all, you gave power to things you couldn't even see. But today, that ends. Because this isn't just another motivational lecture. This is a warning, forged in cold logic, not cheap emotion. It comes from one of the most feared minds in history, Niccolò Machiavelli. He didn't care about feelings. He cared about control. And in this video, you're going to learn exactly how to reclaim it. You'll learn how to detach from drama, shut down emotional traps, and become immune to manipulation, all without losing your soul. This isn't about becoming heartless. It's about becoming untouchable. You're watching Dark Power, the channel that doesn't teach you how to feel better. It teaches you how to never be controlled again. If you're tired of being shaken by every word, every person, every look, this video will rewire your defense. So listen closely. If this hits something deep inside you, tap like, hit subscribe, and comment. Nothing moves me now. Let's begin. 1. The trap of reacting. How they use your emotions against you. Every time you react instantly, someone else just pulled your strings. They raised their voice, you defended yourself. They gave you silence, you chased clarity. They made a joke at your expense, and you laughed just to stay accepted. That's not strength. That's emotional captivity. You think you're making choices, but really, you're responding to design. They study your patterns, what irritates you, what flatters you, what scares you. Then they push those buttons, not to understand you, but to control you. Because in their game, your reaction is the prize. It shows them where to press next. Anger? They'll use it to bait you. Guilt? They'll twist it to bend you. Validation? They'll feed you crumbs until you follow. But once you stop reacting, the game breaks. You create silence where they expect noise. You give stillness where they want chaos. And that makes you dangerous. Machiavelli would say, the person who moves second chooses the battlefield. From now on, no instant emotion, no automatic defense, only calculation. If you're ready to shut down the game, hit like, subscribe to Dark Power, and comment no more triggers to declare your emotional freedom. 2. Emotional leverage. Why kindness is a currency they manipulate. Not all kindness is genuine. Sometimes it's a setup. They do something nice, not because they care, but because they want something in return. Your silence, your loyalty, your guilt. This is emotional leverage, a transaction disguised as compassion. They'll support you publicly, then remind you privately. They'll do you a favor, then weaponize it. They'll give you comfort, just to own your choices later. You think you owe them. You don't. Real kindness is silent. It doesn't keep score. But manipulators keep receipts. They turn their kindness into a debt, and suddenly you're paying in obedience, attention, and emotional submission. This is how they trap you. Not with threats, but with generosity. They act like saints, then move like kings. Machiavelli warned, beware those who give with too much ease. They often take with force later. From now on, don't just question cruelty. Question sudden affection. Not every smile is clean. Not every helping hand is free. If you're ready to stop being emotionally bought, tap like, subscribe to Dark Power, and comment, I don't owe you, to reclaim your decisions. Part 3. The Silent Game. Mastering cold detachment in a loud world. Power doesn't always shout. In fact, the strongest presence in the room is usually the one that says the least. We've been conditioned to over-explain, to constantly react, to fill silence with noise, just to feel relevant. But every word you throw away is a piece of your power slipping through. Cold detachment isn't being cruel, it's being unreachable. It means you've stopped handing out emotional access like free samples. You don't owe responses, You don't owe explanations. You don't owe clarity to people who haven't earned it. In a loud world, silence becomes a weapon. When you speak less, people start to project more. They guess your thoughts. They fear your opinion. They begin negotiating with a version of you that you've never even revealed. That's leverage. Machiavelli understood this well. He said, "A ruler must appear open while remaining unreadable." Let them see the surface, never the depth. That space between what they know and what they think, that's where control lives. From now on, speak only when it strengthens your position. Be brief, be cold, be clear. Let others exhaust themselves trying to decode you. If you're ready to master silence's strategy, hit like, subscribe to Dark Power, and comment "Silence is Power" to show you've entered the quiet battlefield. Part 4. Bait and Trigger: How People Weaponize Your Past. They don't need to break you. They just need to remind you who you used to be. Your past, the mistakes, the weakness, the regret, becomes bait in the hands of manipulators. They won't attack you head-on. Instead, they'll mention it in passing. They'll use subtle phrases like, "Remember when you used to? You've changed. You're not like you were before." Why? Because the past holds your deepest insecurities. And when triggered, you stop acting from power and start acting from wounds. It's psychological warfare. They trigger shame to make you shrink. They pull your history forward to control your present. They use your emotional memory as a leash, and every reaction tightens it. Machiavelli knew that a person ruled by memory is easy to dominate, because while they're busy defending their identity, they forget to enforce their boundaries. Here's the shift. Your past is no longer a weakness. It's your origin, not your prison. When someone tries to use your story against you, pause. Look them in the eye and say nothing. Let them drown in the silence they expected you to fill with apology. If you're done being triggered by history, tap like, subscribe to Dark Power, and comment, "My past serves me," to prove your power is built, not borrowed. Part 5. Psychological Armor: Turning Pain into Emotional Power. You weren't born strong. You were shaped by impact, by betrayal, by silence, by the day you had to carry what no one saw. Most people try to escape pain. They distract themselves, bury it, call it the past. But unprocessed pain isn't gone, it's weaponized against you by others. Here's what they never tell you. Your suffering contains information. It teaches you what breaks you and what builds you. And once understood, that same pain becomes armor, invisible but unbreakable. You stop being afraid of being hurt again because you've seen the worst. You stop chasing comfort because you know peace isn't given, it's earned. You stop begging to be saved because now you're the one who rescues yourself. Machiavelli believed the strongest leaders were born from hardship, not ease. Comfort creates softness, but adversity, when faced without victimhood, builds emotional muscle. You no longer owe the world your wounds. You owe yourself the transformation they gave you. So wear it. Every scar, every loss, every moment you endured. That's not baggage, that's blueprints. If you're ready to turn your pain into power, hit like, subscribe to Dark Power, and comment, "I wear my armor," to show you're no longer breakable. 6. The end of validation: Why you don't need anyone's approval. Approval is a drug. The first hit feels good, but soon you need it to speak, to move, to exist. You shape your words so they're liked. You shrink your truth so it's accepted. You smile when you want to speak fire, just to stay inside someone else's comfort zone. That's not connection. That's dependency. And dependency is control disguised as belonging. You were trained to seek validation from school, from family, from strangers online. But here's the truth. Anyone who can validate you can also erase you. Because when your worth comes from outside, it's fragile. It bends, it conforms, it breaks under silence. Machiavelli never sought applause. He moved in silence, built in shadows, and acted from clarity, not consensus. Because once you stop needing to be liked, you become unshakable. From this moment forward, you speak because it's true, not because it's popular. You act because it's right for your path, not because it earns you praise. You don't chase attention, you command presence. There's a difference. If you're ready to kill the need for approval and live untamed, hit like, subscribe to Dark Power, and comment "I approve myself" to mark the end of your emotional dependency. 7. Toxic echoes. Cutting off what no longer deserves a voice. Some voices don't speak to you anymore, they haunt you. The critic from your childhood. The fake friend who smiled while envying you. The ex who belittled your dreams. Their words may be gone, but the echo still lives in your mind. It's the hesitation before you act. The doubt before you speak. The silence when you should have stood up. This is how toxicity survives. Not in presence, but in memory. You keep them alive by replaying their voice and questioning your own. Here's the truth. You can't move forward if you're still arguing with ghosts. You don't owe explanation to the version of you they misunderstood. You don't have to keep editing yourself for someone who's no longer in the room. Machiavelli knew the power of decisive cuts. He believed that clarity requires separation, and separation demands courage. It's time to unplug their voice from your mind. Cut the echo, not gently, completely. You don't need closure, you need boundaries. You don't need revenge, you need distance. If you're done giving volume to voices that only weaken you, hit like, subscribe to Dark Power, and comment "Silence the echo" to show you've reclaimed your mental space. 8. Calculated distance. The power of walking away without emotion. Most people don't walk away, they drift. They delay, they excuse, they wait for closure. And in that waiting, they bleed. Their energy drains, their self-respect fades, their clarity shatters. You don't need permission to leave what drains you. You need calculation. Walking away isn't weakness, it's warfare, quiet, surgical, final. It means you've weighed the cost and chosen self-preservation over emotional loyalty. The world tells you to explain yourself. But power doesn't explain, it moves. When someone crosses a line repeatedly, don't argue, disappear. When respect fades, don't beg, withdraw. When patterns become cycles, don't try again, exit. Machiavelli understood the art of clean departure. He wrote, "One must cut off what no longer serves before it poisons everything that remains." Calculated distance isn't cold, it's clear. It protects your mind, it saves your future. It rewires your identity. So stop fearing silence, stop fearing space. Not every bond is meant to last. Some are meant to be lessons, not lifelines. If you're ready to walk away from noise without flinching, hit like, subscribe to Dark Power, and comment "Distance is my power" to declare your emotional separation from what no longer deserves access. 9. No mercy for manipulation. Spot it, kill it, move on. Manipulators don't steal your power with force, they borrow it with charm. They flatter your strengths to blind you. They create guilt to keep you obedient. They twist facts so you question your own memory. And by the time you realize what's happening, they've already rewritten your self-worth. But here's the rule: manipulation only works when you're unsure of your value. So the first step is brutal honesty. Who makes you doubt yourself? Who always plays victim when you hold them accountable? Who says you're too sensitive when they cross the line? These aren't mistakes. They're tactics. Planned, rehearsed, repeated. You don't owe these people a second chance. You owe yourself a final decision. Machiavelli believed that when corruption is allowed once, it returns stronger. So when you spot manipulation, don't wait. Kill it. With silence, with detachment, with exit. No confrontation, no grand speech. Just one clean removal and no return. Forgiveness doesn't mean access. Peace doesn't mean tolerance. You can wish them well, From a distance they'll never cross again. If you're done being played, hit like, subscribe to Dark Power, and comment "I see the game" to show you're finished falling for tricks wrapped in smiles. 10. Absolute control, becoming the one who feels but never falls. You don't need to erase your emotions. You need to command them. Real strength isn't numbness. It's feeling deeply without being moved by the storm. You can experience pain without reacting to it. You can notice disrespect without collapsing into anger. You can feel betrayal and still choose clarity over chaos. That's absolute control. The ability to hold emotion without being held by it. Weak people explode. Fragile minds shut down. But the untouchable, they process silently, choose precisely, and act surgically. Machiavelli understood this mastery. He believed that a ruler's first battlefield is not the court, but the mind. The one who governs thought governs action, and the one who controls reaction cannot be conquered. So don't fight your emotions, observe them. Let them rise, let them speak, but never let them decide for you. Because the moment you react blindly, you hand your control to someone else. Your power doesn't lie in how cold you can become. It lies in how calm you remain when the fire is rising. From this point forward, feel everything, but answer with intention. If you're ready to become the mind no one can shake, hit like, subscribe to Dark Power, and comment "I control my storm" to seal your transformation.